Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
If you build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Garrison Financial Friday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM. The Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. Where's Scott?
I don't know. He was dealing with his foot stuff, so I wonder if that's part of it today.
He may have a foot thing.
I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right.
Well, for the time being, we do not have Scott. So we'll have to pick up the slack.
Well, we do it
For
4
him.
days out of the week. I think we could figure
Pick up
it
the
out.
slack for him, you know. Playing on him. I plan on Friday morning be kind of coast time. Just sit back and listen to him.
Yeah, it's Friday. Let's let him do the job.
Kind of hang out.
Let him work.
All right, we're going to come up with something. Let's see. At the end of the show, we'll talk, bowl games start tomorrow. Does that interest you at all?
Do we care?
That's a,
Do we care?
I went ahead and put it down on the list. I had a plan, probably a feeling that we'd probably talk more NFL on the football side. I can't wait to ask this question. I'm going to ask it, see if we can get some we'll hear from you later. See if we can get some text line thoughts.
Cool.
225-9698 is the text line. Okay, so last night, just a brutal performance by the LA Chargers.
I turned that on and turned that off in a hurry. I was late to join it, and it was already 14-0, and then boom, 21-0. Because I went to the back room to wrap presents, and we need to have a discussion about wrapping presents.
Okay, we can do that at the top.
But and it quickly went to 21-0, and I thought, what else is on? We got two backup quarterbacks. This is a boring game that absolutely means nothing for playoffs, I don't think. So I turned it.
Aiden O'Connell looked pretty good.
Is he the guy? Is he the next Purdy?
Maybe so. He looked pretty good. Aiden O'Connell
Was
did.
he a third-round guy?
Something like out of
Out of
Purdue.
Purdue? Yeah.
I knew how bad Easton's stick was. And he actually didn't play terrible. But from last week, because I have Justin Herbert on my fantasy team, well, he went out, obviously, with the injury. Mm-hmm. Easton's stick came in, and that was the end of the Chargers being relevant offensively. So, in my infinite wisdom, my infinite fantasy football wisdom, I knew how bad Easton's stick was. First start on the road, I thought, you know what would be a good idea? Pick up the Raiders' defense.
That's not a bad idea.
25 points later, pretty good move. Probably the most brilliant move that's happened in our fantasy football league this season, if we're being honest. Thankfully, it wasn't 0.25. Bald guy that made the move. I said this on the text group today. Somebody said, man, way to go. That's pretty wise. And I said, yeah, thankfully it wasn't him. Or that's all we'd have to hear about today is how smart he was. See, I'll just say, you know what, it's okay. But, I had a little bit of an advantage there because I got to witness Easton Stick come into the game for Herbert last week when I was wanting, obviously Herbert to score points. So
Yeah.
I had an unfair advantage there, and I took it, and I did take advantage of it. But here's what I want to hear from you guys out there listening. Did you see what happened at halftime?
No, like I said, I turned it. I went and got 21-0. What happened?
They interviewed Brandon Staley going into the locker room, down 42-0. So here's what I want to know: what would you say if you were Brandon Staley? What would you say? Down 42-0, heading into the locker room of an NFL game, which probably at the time you're wondering if it's your last time to walk off an NFL field. Are you about to make history and be the first coach ever fired at halftime?
Well, he probably knows his time's done, right?
Oh, he believes in himself. He believes in himself.
I would think that would be, oddly enough, the most comfortable, uncomfortable position to be in because I mean, come on, they can't retain him no matter what. So he knows that too. Like, that's the world of the NFL. And this was coming even before last night. So he's just like, I could say what I want. What are they going to do? Fire me twice?
Right.
So I wonder what would you say? It depends on your
would you just go
personality.
scorched earth on your team or on the entire organization?
Do you think at halftime he was like the coach off The Water Boy, just sitting in the locker room with the towel over his face? Does anybody have any good ideas?
Yeah, maybe. I got an idea. Hold on to the ball.
Yeah, that would help.
That was very, very interesting. All right, we'll talk about that. Best games coming up on the NFL slate this week. We got some high school hoops tonight, tomorrow, kind of wrapping up the pre-Christmas portion of the schedule. Maybe a first half recap, kind of half the way through the season, right? Small school wise?
I don't know. Kind of.
10 games, 12 games.
Let me think. 10, 13 under my belt. Is that right? 12 games.
So that's basically halfway through the regular season anyway.
Right. There's like different sections of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're through a good chunk of the first.
Yeah.
And then January and then playoffs. But yeah, I could say I think that's right.
Talk a little bit about that. And then here's another question for everybody out there. What do you want the name of the AAA club in Oklahoma City to be?
That's a good one.
Rebranding.
Again.
Rebranding coming off the Dodger name. I think there's an obvious out there to head back to the roots of AAA baseball in Oklahoma City.
I hope you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I think there's an obvious one there. So we can hit that.
You know what I just realized yesterday when that news broke and I started thinking about AAA and minor league baseball, and I thought, man, imagine a rehab start with Ohtani in Oklahoma City.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Talk about you think the Savannah Bananas was a circus. Talk about the amount of crowd, the ticket prices and everything just to see him.
Yeah, you wonder how they're going to...
You thought Kershaw was crazy when he did a rehab start. I think he did a couple of them.
You wonder how they're going to deal with that, right? Because it's not like... he's still going to be playing every day.
Right.
But do they just kind of, every fifth day, kind of fly him in and fly him out?
Yeah, he has to. He can't just pitch cold turkey. He's going to have to
He's going to have to ramp up. That's right.
I wonder if they just do a...
Like a simulated game.
Simulated game in a bullpen or something.
But you still think you'd want him out there in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different.
Hopefully that means AAA. And if that does mean AAA, that will mean Oklahoma City.
Time it out or figure it out where they're on the West Coast somewhere, like we're in Vegas
or wherever
Albuquerque or something.
Close to each other.
Yeah.
Even if the Dodgers are on the road, if the AAA team's on, or maybe, if the Dodgers are in Texas, down in Arlington, that's a pretty close to OKC.
That could work.
Need to check out the 2025 Dodgers schedule.
Yeah, I don't think we can look that far ahead.
And see maybe where times we might see Shohei Ohtani maybe throw a game in Oklahoma City. Lots of stuff to talk about. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. That is 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things. Whatever else might be on your mind, feel free to chime right in. at 225-9698. If you're outside the listening area one of these days, you can stay in touch with us a couple of ways. You can log on to kadsam.com. You can download the app. The app has it all. It's got radio. It's got the Penny News. Big Elk and Paragon TV on the app as well. So you can check out all of that through the Paragon app. And then, of course, Skinny on Sports podcast. If you missed the show entirely one of these days, you want to check us out. What you missed, you just find that anywhere and everywhere where podcasts are available. How are you today, Jared?
I'm good. I feel good about myself. I wrapped all of the remaining presents that I bought. You probably saw me lugging them upstairs yesterday because I have them all sent here because I don't want people snooping. But then I got them all.
Too.
I got them all in the truck and took them home last night. Went to the back room and wrapped them all up. Are you a good wrapper?
No.
Me neither.
No.
My wife said, so do they look like you wrapped them or the girls wrapped them? Like, who cares? You just rip them open anyways.
I try.
I do try.
I just don't understand the concept.
I try to measure out the paper and everything, and it's so frustrating when you mismeasure and then there's an open spot of the box because you folded it wrong or whatever. And then you have to kind of patch it up, and it looks kind of janky.
I really don't normally have that
much
that problem. I overdo it. Like, my wife hates when I wrap presents.
Too much paper left over.
Yeah, so I try to find sacks. I'm more of a sack guy.
Yeah, I had some big boxes, so I couldn't find sacks. I did put bows on all of them. I feel good about that. And I bought an even amount, at least for my wife. I bought an even amount where, because I'll just put on there, okay, this one's from me, this one's from Katie, this one's from James, and so it was evened out. Where what didn't look like Katie got her more presents than, say, James. So I did good there. And I've been going through the list for the girls because that's our biggest paranoia is one gets more than the other. We try to keep that even. And I think we're doing all right. And here it is, just December 15th. So we have time if we have to run and get something. Now, shipping, we're running out of time on shipping. I'm hearing that deadline's coming if you want to get it here before Christmas. Without paying like overnight fees or anything. You need to do that like now.
Yeah, I ordered something on like Wednesday. And it's supposed to be here Monday. I was kind of surprised that it was that fast, to be honest with you.
They've been good about it. They've been real good about it this year. Yeah. So that's what I did last night. I watched, like I said, I turned it on. Thank goodness for that rapid recap feature on Amazon. And I caught up to 14-0, and then boom, it was 21-0. And I'm like, man, this is not entertaining. I'm changing it. This game means nothing. It's bad. It was a bad game.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. So what do you think? The announcement yesterday that the Dodgers were going to rebrand the team in Oklahoma City, go away from the Dodger brand to something different. I mean, I think there's an obvious choice here.
Back to the 89ers?
Exactly.
Well, that's part of what they announced yesterday, that they're going to be kind of like taking a page out of the Washington Football Club, right? They're going to call them the Oklahoma City Baseball Club for this season and what, next?
Yeah, I think they got 2 years to do this. It's a 2-year window.
And during that time, they're going to wear a lot of throwback uniforms and some kind of generic-looking thing that I hope they don't stick with because that logo is atrocious, that OKC one. But part of those uniforms is the 89ers. I would be okay with that, going back to the 89ers. Very unique, very Oklahoma-centric. I like it. Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense to me that they would go back that way. And here's the deal. I'm sure it's a with what they're paying Ohtani and what they're going to have to, all that. I'm sure there's a organizational wide rebrand idea to try to generate a little bit more revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a way to do that, to rebrand the Dodgers and go from there. And, of course, in Oklahoma City, I think that would be a massive, easy win for the team.
Yeah.
To harken back to those 89er days.
I'll admit, when they changed it to, when the Dodgers took it over and they said, okay, we're going to call it the Oklahoma City Dodgers, I thought, man, that's lazy. They're not even trying. They're just calling it after their parent team. But I like the logo, the OK LA logo. You know, incorporate the LA. I mean, and the Dodger blue, and you can go and get a Dodger dog, as authentic as it could be in Oklahoma City. And I thought that was all cool and everything. I liked it. And they tried to make it Oklahoma City's own, you know, Oklahoma City Dodgers. And with some success, I think people were regularly going and watching them, and they did produce a good brand. And it came from with the Dodgers being the parent team, you're getting some quality baseball, I think, in Oklahoma City. But yeah, I mean, going back to the 89ers, that would be full circle from when they played at the fairgrounds, and then I had no problem with the Red Hawks. I thought that was cool too, because that was more Oklahoma centric too. But back to the 89ers, where, I mean, when did was that the first name of the AAA team ever? I'm sure there's been more. I mean, but that's the one I could always go back and remember.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah, bring back the 89ers. I'm all about it. But they did say they'll wear those uniforms almost like once a week. I can't remember the press release. And maybe even Red Hawks uniforms. And that's kind of a cool idea within itself. Is for the 2 seasons, you get to see a different uniform almost every night. I like that too. That's kind of neat. And that helps them sell some merch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. Is just generating more new revenue to go along with it. Have you seen any of the stuff about the possibility of a Big 12 ACC merger?
No.
This is pretty
Is
interesting.
that just coming down?
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
saw
seen
a little
anything.
talk earlier this week, and then now here's just like an idea of how it would look. You'd bring Oregon State and Washington State in with what you've got out west. Basically, it would be 4 9-team pods. Now, Notre Dame is also here, so that probably we'll see. Even though they got that scheduling alliance with the ACC. But I thought that's pretty. You want to talk about a super conference?
So would it be merged to just a scheduling agreement, or would it be a brand new conference?
It's hard to tell at the moment.
Because would there still be an ACC championship and a Big 12 championship, but they have this scheduling agreement kind of like they have with Notre Dame? Is that their way of saying, okay, this is how we could beef up our scheduling so someone like Florida State can't be left out again?
Maybe. I don't understand why you'd need it, though, because it feels like both conferences are on sure enough footing to where they're going to be one of the possibility for an automatic bid into the playoff.
So. I would think so. If this sounds like ACC probably initiated the conversation with this, because the Big 12 with bringing in Utah and now Arizona, it looks pretty good, and they beefed up their conference with OU and Texas leaving to the best of their ability. Where I think at the end of the day, if you go undefeated in that conference, you've got an argument to get in.
I would guess you're looking at maybe preemptive measures by the ACC to try not to lose Clemson, Florida State, Miami, some of the North Carolina, Virginia.
Keep it attractive for them.
Yeah, not to have them split off and end up in the SEC or the Big Ten.
And the Big 12 would love nothing more than to have a scheduling agreement or merger or whatever they're calling it. So they have inroads into those areas for recruiting.
Yeah, but here's what's completely crazy to me is the Big 12, I think, always was looked at as kind of the fifth one of the Power 5 conferences. And now I think there's a better than 50-50 chance that we end up with 3, and the Big 12 is one of them. I think the Big 12 is around before the ACC is around.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
But you know why?
Why?
They have one massive advantage that nobody has.
What's that?
The ability to go west.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, Cal and Stanford obviously coming all the way across to the ACC makes 0 sense. And I would imagine in their heart of hearts they would be thinking, we'd much rather be in the. I mean, even though It's not prestigious academic. I mean, we know they want to be in the Big Ten. Big Ten doesn't want them yet, or doesn't, whatever that is. And maybe they're such elitist academically that they don't care about sports at the end of the day, and they can just kind of be out there by themselves. But for ease of everything, you would think sports-wise they would much rather fit in with what the Big 12 has, because you've still got the Arizona schools. But they may just thumb their nose at that, though. You never know what they're thinking of.
Yeah, it's hard to.
It really feels like Washington State, Oregon State, eventually are Big 12 schools, unless they can recreate through the Mountain West some sort of semblance of pack. But everybody's gone. You're not bringing the band back together. There's no way to save the Pac-12.
No, it's done.
And right now it feels like Oregon State and Washington State are in such a bad spot that they kind of have to take what they can get. But this seems more like ACC fodder to me than Big 12. Why does the Big 12? Why do they care? Because it feels to me like Big 12 is on just solid ground.
Maybe to get in the markets. But, I mean, they're in there. They got Central Florida, so they're in that Florida market, kind of. Maybe not Miami, but that's the only reason I could see it.
I mean, Miami fits the Big 12 model.
How so?
Because they're a small private school, like TCU, like Baylor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As SMU's ACC, that one makes sense to. If you pick up, let's say you pick up 4 schools and go to 18, would that be 18 now? Miami, Duke, I don't know, SMU, and Florida State. I mean, I think Florida State go about anywhere right now. I don't know how picky and choosy they would be just to get away from what happened. Or maybe Louisville. The ACC seems like they seem like they're not going to be around for long to me. Even though they have the longest grant of rights out there through 2036, I feel like if the schools all kind of got together and say, okay, listen, enough is enough. Let's move on. Some of those Northeast schools, Syracuse, Boston College, maybe they fit back into the Big East. I don't know if they want to play football. They probably don't want to do that, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
That this feels like ACC driven more than anything toward the Big 12, to almost wanting the Big 12 to kind of help them out with the life raft. And we'll see what Brett Yormark wants to do, because he has done a whale of a job at figuring out a way for this league to not only survive, but now it feels like they're on the precipice of starting to flourish. And always going to be behind what the Big Ten and the SEC are, but also solidly the next one down. Solidly. And then depending on what they can do, I don't know if you're ever getting to that prestige level of those other two, but man, you're not that far behind, depending on who you could maybe coax out of the ACC if that thing completely falls apart.
Yeah, they're solid. They're in good footing and solid with as far as behind those big two of the Big Ten and the SEC. But it's crazy how just a few short years ago there was talk of the Big 12 just dismantling, kind of like what the ACC is, what they're talking about now. And all of a sudden, just a few years later, there's no Pac-12. I mean, which is insane to me, because there's no Pac-12. It's gone. And we're talking about markets like Los Angeles, which I know the Big Ten's in, but doesn't that seem crazy?
You'd have never believed
You would have never thought that the Big 12 would survive and the Pac-12 would just crumble like it did. When they have all those opportunities to with the markets of LA, I mean, go down to San Diego even. You have those opportunities there, and Seattle market, and that just goes to show you what poor leadership can do.
Well, and elitist thinking, because
that too.
There was a time in our lives not that long ago where Oklahoma and Texas were begging in some ways to be in the Pac-12, and now it's not even a thing. And here's what's crazy: and the Big 12 is on solid footing without Oklahoma and Texas. That's what's nuts about this. How many lives does the Big 12 have?
Right.
I mean, it was done when the original 4 left with Colorado, Missouri, Nebraska, and A&M. It was done for. Where's everybody going? Who's going to end up without a seat at the table? Then they kind of parse it together, TCU and West Virginia to save it for as long as they could save it. Then, of course, a couple of years ago in the summer of, 21, when Oklahoma and Texas, it leaks that they're headed SEC. Now the conference is completely done without the 2 bell cows. Oh, wait, no, we're not. How about more solid than the Pac-12 was still 4 of those, and here we are.
Did it almost? And I'm not trying to take away what your market, the Big 12, have done by getting the Arizonas and Utah, but did it almost kind of fall in their lap because of the Big Ten poaching those schools? And
of course it did.
It forced Arizona and Utah to go, well, we can't be – we got to find a place. We got to find a home.
100% it did.
So, we'll come Big 12, sure.
But the Pac-12 had a chance to avoid all of that.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2010s.
Years ago, yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
But they were too snooty
to
accept some of the schools they had to bring in to guarantee their future. And that's where, you can talk about this or you can talk about that as far as the markets and the value of teams that have come into the Big 12. And is it the original Big 12? No. You can't replace Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, A&M with Houston, TCU, West Virginia, UCF, and stay at the top of the relevancy scale, right? I mean, you're going to have to take a dip. But with the acquisition of those schools from the Pac-12, being able to be in position to do it, I think is the part that you got to give the Big 12 credit for by bringing some of those other schools in that at the time didn't feel attractive enough, also allowed them to be relevant enough and be in the position to then grab the Arizonas and Arizona States, the Utah, Colorado when they became available. And it was just a natural fit. I mean, as much as you saw, we don't want to do that from fans and this and that, I'm telling you right now, I think in the long run, some of those schools out west are going to be happy that all they have to do is go to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and not Durham, North Carolina. All the way across. If they'd have just waited and accepted their fate into the ACC. So I think this is more of a seeing the stuff. I think it's way more of a Hail Mary by the ACC to try to do something, show Florida State, show Clemson, whoever else has their eyes elsewhere.
Yeah.
To hey, here's what we're trying to do. Settle down. We'll keep you in the mix. Now, whether or not it works or not, that remains to be seen. It's My School's Hoops when we come back on this Garrison Financial Friday.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM. The Sports Animal. It's Garrison Financial Friday. Scott was unable to make it with us today. But, man, he offers all kinds of different services down at Garrison Financial. Full financial planner. He'll shop the open market to bring you the best value on your life insurance and your investments. He can manage everything. Or if you're one of those people that kind of likes to manage your stuff or pay attention to the markets and go through that, but you're not real sure how to get started, he'll charge you hourly to build a plan that then you can manage yourself. Scott@SoonerWealth.com is his email address. 124 North Main Street right here in Elk City is the physical address, and you can catch him on the horn. 580-821-1219. That's Scott Garrison. Garrison Financial. Every Friday is a Garrison Financial Friday. All right, we got just a little smattering of high school hoops to finish out the pre-Christmas portion of the schedule. A couple of small school games tonight. You've got Merritt going to Hinton. Sealing comes to Leedy. Pretty good test for both.
Yeah.
There. Obviously, Sealing, the girls and boys both in the top 5. Sealing girls number 1. 2-time now defending state titleists. And with about everybody back, looking at 3 in a row. And then the Sealing boys coming off a football state title. They haven't played very many games yet. Matter of fact, they played 1. They played on Tuesday and they beat Moreland. So they've done what they can do, at least so far, on the basketball floor. They're probably one of the few that has games next week, just to kind of get some games. 12-19. So what's that? Tuesday. They'll play Laverne. You wonder if maybe they didn't get out of school. Are y'all out of school today?
Today, yeah.
Last day?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way we are too.
I bet you they're out of school, but they're just
trying to get a game in before they go to Mustang and the Holiday Classic.
Right. Right. I mean, now's if you're Leedy, they're on, like when we had Lake on, talked about this. The boys are on a roll. This might be now the time, if you want to beat a good Sealing boys team, this might be the time to do it. You get them at home, maybe get a little run and gun at them, and see if they're basketball ready physically.
Yeah, run up and down the floor. If you're that style, Lance, maybe not. Depending on personnel.
Right.
But yeah, before they get into quote unquote basketball shape,
sure.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. That make them handle the ball against pressure. Mm-hmm. It seems like sometimes guys coming out of football playing basketball almost looks like they're dribbling with their elbows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the way you're just not quite used to having a basketball in their hands yet.
Sometimes you just have schools that have athletes, and it just doesn't matter.
And there's also that
it just transitions like night and day, just boom. But that could be an interesting one.
All right, so let's kind of recap the first part of the season here for especially in the small schools, just because they have so much more of a sample size than maybe some of the other bigger schools. In your mind, let's start on the girls' side. Paragon TV schools. Who's been the most impressive on the girls' side? Is it the Canute Trojanettes? Merritt. It's hard to say Merritt's
hard to
not.
say Merritt because they've had those.
But they've only played a few.
They've only played a few, but they had high expectations going in, and they've delivered on those few games.
How about this?
So that's not a surprise to us, right?
How about this? It's Canute unless Merritt really makes some noise in the Bertha Frank team.
Yeah, I mean Leedy's here,
and then of course Leedy also
has been good, but Canute had their number early in the year. Canute, though, I mean with there were questions on replacing the 3 starters, the 3 seniors that had a great impact on the program, and what that would look like. And it looks solid. The emergence, I think, personally, we knew what Destiny Jackson was. She's a special player as a sophomore now. But I was keying in at the beginning of the year is what the emergence of Kendall Schuster, like can she, that trajectory of, okay, nice stuff as a freshman when she came in relief. Now she'll be thrust in that starting role. How's she going to handle it as a sophomore? In these last 2 games, she's averaged no less than about 13 points. Going back to that championship game on Saturday, then Tuesday night against Rappo, and she's really, really, really settled down. And there's no greater compliment, I think, is when you see her play, they pay attention to her. I mean, they're doubling her up. They don't want her to get the ball because when she does, she gets it down there, she's hard to stop. That's been a surprise. I mean, I knew she'd be good, but I didn't think she'd be this good. I thought that would come later in time, and that's been nice to see. And But on the other hand, there, for me anyways, there was this expectation because they're really well coached by Coach Ridling, and you just knew that, okay, despite those three moving on, the seniors that graduated, who's next? Next man up, next woman up, who's it going to be? And they've kind of continued what she expects them to continue, and so that's been nice to see. It's been nice to see, and we'll see how far it can take them.
I'm changing my vote.
That's been. Who do you got?
Hammond.
You had they're a surprise for you?
No. Just the best team so far.
Oh, I thought the question was who's the most surprising team?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Canute's. I think we thought they were going to be pretty good, and they have been.
Yeah,
they're similar, I think, in a lot of ways, except for yes, Destiny had a nice year as a young player last year, but I think the expectation of what Henley West is for Hammond is on a different level. Coming back, I mean, Cheney and three senior starters last year, Cheney, Espinosa, and Binkley.
Yeah,
the guards off of last year's team for Hammond. But I think the difference is that's nice, and if you didn't watch that team, you don't realize how important those girls were to that state title last year.
Yeah.
What you watch and what you notice is, holy cow, who is that tall girl that that is really skilled, and she's coming back, right?
Yeah.
And look at Hammond 9-1, and the only game they lost, she wasn't there because she was at FFA, National Convention or whatever. I think that the thing that separates, for me at least, is the teams that Hammond has beat are more highly rated than the teams Canute has beat. That makes sense? I mean, like, especially that Red Oak win. Being able to come back and beat Red Oak. When you look at Red Oak, 7-3, ranked number 4 in Class A, you think, man, really? 3 losses, top 4? Okay, they've lost to Class 2A number 4 Oaktahaw. They've lost to Class B number 2 Hammond, and they've lost to Class A number 2 Caddo. That's their only losses on the season. Now, are they that team, though? Now, they do have a win over Okarche, who, man, what about that story? We haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole yet, but Okarche top 5 at the time up there at the South Canadian Classic. Now maybe slipping down the ranks with the firing, or actually the resignment of head coach Haley Mitchell.
Forced resignment?
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
I'm going to tell you something. That's a fishy story.
I've heard so many stories.
She comes from basketball royalty in this state.
Yeah.
Her mother, head coach Sherry Myers, was, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a few times where I had the opportunity to be on the sideline at the Big House, and Sherry was coaching Okarche at the time, and she was intimidating. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, but I knew her off the court even. Because of her brother or her son Heath, and playing a little bit of golf at Southwestern before he moved on, and that was a you better had your stuff ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't just kind of half questions and expect her to answer them. You better ask a question if you wanted an answer. And then you see them up here thinking, oh, that's cool. Okarche's up here at Leedy in that tournament, and they end up getting beat in the third place game. You wonder how much that anybody knew that coming up this week that she was going to be done. And not only her, the assistants, there's a lot of things flying around about that situation. But, if it is what it looks like on the surface, and that's just parents being idiots, then that cost Okarche a really good basketball coach.
Right. My first reaction to seeing that was somebody's going to get a good coach, but I don't know if she wants to coach anymore.
Maybe not.
I've heard rumors. She said, "I'm not going to deal with it," or more or less, and saying, "I'm not. I don't want to. This is too much.
This is how I am, and it's successful, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then why put up with it?"
I think the best thing out of all this, and who knows what the future holds, someone's going to throw her a coaching job. She's going to get a lot of phone calls. Say, come coach here, come coach here, come coach over here. And who knows if she'll pick up the phone or if she's going to stay right there, because she's staying on, I think, as an administrative role
She's assistant principal.
Assistant principal and curriculum or advisor or whatever. And I think that's kind of commendable of her to stay there. Stay on that role and go, okay, I'm not going to coach. I'll sit back and just not do anything. I mean, not coach, but just watch you.
Yeah, we have connections up there.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard a lot
baseball
from
coach.
Different.
We'll see if we can get anything out of him.
Well, get him on the phone. Let's see.
So, Maddie,
let's put him on the spot.
Good stuff.
Honestly, I think she winds up somewhere. I do. I think she's too good of a coach not to coach.
And it's just in her blood, man. That's what she's is.
And there's going to be and that's the thing too, is that Okarche and their location to Kingfisher. That's another thing we haven't really talked a lot about. That whole thing going over at Kingfisher.
Well, see, to me, that these things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Some parent sees what happened down at Kingfisher, and even that story is still pretty murky as far as what happened with the football program and the hazing and this and that. And I think Kingfisher, that school, they agreed to a settlement for many reasons, I'm sure. And now does a parent see that?
It's an opportunity to scare a coach, or
and then depending on what your position is in the community, or maybe let's not put it above people that if their girl gets yelled at and doesn't get to play, and they happen to be on a school board or something like that they wouldn't try to cause a bunch of waves. And quite honestly, if that's really what happened, when you read some of the articles, it feels like that's what happened. Kudos to Haley Mitchell. Just saying, you know what? Fine. See ya. And good luck picking up the pieces. Good luck you explaining this to not only your daughter, but then your daughter's friends that are on that team about what you did to derail this season. And my senior. There's just lots of stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more than just one victim here. There's those players, too.
There's no doubt about it.
Maybe that's thinking, man, we went to state last year, and what, they get the semis?
I think so.
They beat Surreal in the first round, and they bowed out to somebody. But, there's always that, and that is Okarche. They expect to go to state every year. That's kind of heartbreaking if you think you got a senior on the team, and that now we've just lost our coach because of a disgruntled parent. But now she'll land on her feet.
Yeah, Sealing beat them in semifinals.
Yeah.
All right, so I kind of rank them. Jeremy did this on the text line.
That's a good one, yeah. And I forgot about Cheyenne. Cheyenne's been a nice surprise. They're so young, but they're going to be you talk about expectation and coming up to, maybe as soon as next year, there's going to be expectation. I'm anxious to see how Cheyenne seasons go, how it goes throughout the rest of the year, because there's going to be the youthfulness of it and stuff. But when they get to playoffs, how far that youthfulness can carry them, and then again, the expectations going into next year. But they're a nice team,
and the further the better,
nice
right?
Yes,
even if it's always going to help for next year. If you get to experience an area tournament as a young team, then you're not stepping into that arena a year from now with your eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. We've been here. We were here last year. That kind of thing. That always seems to – just every game you can play as a young team like they are in the playoffs only builds toward, what the next 3 years will look like.
Right.
I kind of like –
So you want to rank them?
I think I like Jeremy's rankings.
I got to switch
except
Cheyenne
for 4 and 5.
Yeah, I mean, because Leedy beat him twice, so I respectfully, I got to switch that for me. So, yeah, Merritt's the 1, Hammond 2, Canute 3, Leedy 4, Cheyenne 5.
Okay, so I know they're different teams, and they haven't played. No. Merritt beat Hammond a bunch of times last year, didn't they? I was thinking it was the other way around. Yeah, Merritt was the one that kept on beating Hammond.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind. I was going to switch those, but it was Merritt that won those games, not Hammond. They beat him like 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay with that. Merritt, Hammond, Canute, Leedy, Cheyenne. Going into the Christmas break.
Yeah, a lot of that is just based on results so far and expectations going in.
And probably how good they've been over the last couple of years with the players that are still on the team. It all makes sense.
You know, a team. Hang
on.
Go ahead. Yeah, we gotta get a break.
Let's get a break, then we'll go to the
boys.
We'll go to the boys side.
Yeah.
There's a team here that is, to me, clearly the surprise after what happened last week.
Okay.
Runaway surprise winner here.
Okay.
You haven't figured out who it is yet.
No.
Garrison Financial Friday, wrapping up the week next on the Skinny on Sports.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
The Skinny on Sports.
No.
All right, welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal, wrapping up a Garrison Financial Friday. Scotty G, unable to make it with us today. He's normally in here to give us his knowledge. Man, I was really wanting to pick on him about the Steelers losing to the Patriots again.
Oh, come on. How much we got to pick at that womb?
As much as we can.
Until they play.
Until they lose again.
Lose again. That's so mean.
I'm sure that's coming up this week.
That's so mean.
Who do they got?
They're at Indianapolis.
Oh, that could easily be a loss.
Yeah, could be. It's actually Saturday. There's 3 games tomorrow.
There is games tomorrow.
Yeah, noon, 3:30, and 7:15.
I bet you the NFL Network, I guess they're all on the NFL Network as it turns out. Mm-hmm. You think in their wildest imaginations going into the season with the teams scheduled, they thought they would have 6 teams above 500 on this first Saturday?
No. 6?
All 6 of them are.
That are playing?
They all have a winning record.
Yeah.
5 of them are 7-6. I don't know how much faith they would have had in Denver. I don't know how much faith they'd have had in Indianapolis to be.
Yeah, but the others, Minnesota, and Cincy, Detroit, and Pitt.
You think they thought, man, that Denver-Detroit game is going to be better than Minnesota-Cincinnati?
No.
But with the circumstances in the season, it absolutely is. Minnesota's got 2 backup, or Minnesota-Cincinnati's a couple of backup quarterbacks going at it, like we saw last night.
And thus, that's why they're at noon.
Yeah, they may have the ultimate scheduling advantage there time-wise.
Yeah.
They're at the NFL Network. All right, we mentioned this Garrison Financial Friday. Scott Garrison down at Garrison Financial. Scott at SoonerWealth.com. 124 North Main is his location. 821-1219 is his phone number. We went through all the stuff that he can do financial planning-wise, everything, full financial planning. But here's another thing that he said right here and told about how he enjoys being able to work with his clients' accountants to make sure all the ramifications tax-wise, all the returns are filed in a timely manner. So he works with those folks as well on your behalf to make sure that all of that crosses T's, dots I's throughout the year, and even at the end of the year when your stuff needs to be filed for a tax return. Scott at SoonerWealth.com. It's a Garrison Financial Friday. All right, boys-wise. Best team so far in the Paragon Network.
You said you had one in mind.
I've got a surprise.
You got a surprise team.
A surprise team that's going to be in the top, say, 3?
Okay. But the best team in the Paragon Network. Well, in the Paragon Network, it's hard to go against Canute, isn't it?
Canute beat Leedy. Leedy won a better tournament that Canute didn't.
True.
That makes sense. I mean,
True.
it has to be one of those two, I think.
Yeah. I like head-to-head matchups, but I can't go against that because that's what I did my girls' rankings with. But
Also, second game of the year when Canute beat Leedy.
Mm-hmm. Try not to sound homerish, you know.
You are, though. It's okay.
No, I mean, come on. I mean, they're a nice surprise. And
One's 10-2, one's 11-2.
yeah.
Canute did beat Leedy by 10 on their home floor. Leedy has the better wins, especially last week at the South Canadian Classic, with wins over top 20 teams in A or B, all three.
What would Canute be ranked if they're Class B?
That'd be a good question. You know, you always see, to me, it takes a little bit of adjustment when teams go up, if it's a new one that's going up and down. If it's a team that you're used to kind of bouncing back and forth, I think coaches kind of know about, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of know about them or respect them or have an idea. If it's somebody that you're not used to seeing bounce around, I think that it takes longer to catch up, if that makes sense, just because they've already got a kind of an order in their mind. I really hate that Duke game didn't happen last night.
Yeah, for those who are wondering, we didn't really talk about that. That game rescheduled until January. I forget the date, but it's until January. I guess Duke has a lot of sickness happening. A little bit of Canute, too. They kind of had a short bench on Tuesday night. But that would have answered that question a little bit. It would have helped us. Because Duke there at 3, what if Duke came to town and Canute beat someone?
It seems like Canute's won that game a couple of times here late, especially on the girls' side.
The girls' side. Now, the boys' side, they've been with them.
Yeah.
Even as soon as last year, with a bunch of freshmen, they were with them for about 3 quarters until Duke pulled away. And that was at Duke.
Okay, so there's top 2. I think everybody, in whatever order you want to put them, I think we're all pretty well in lockstep that those are the best 2.
Canute, Leedy, Canute.
I'm seeing some others here. Jeremy's gone to the top 5 or 6, and he's left out the team that deserves to be number 3.
Eric,
the Bearcats.
the Bearcats.
Winners of the Best of the Southwest tournament just last week. Yes, the Bearcats. 8-3, win over Class B, now number 9, Granite. They were number 8 at the time when Eric won that game on Granite's home floor. Yeah. Surprise team of the whole deal to me is the Eric Bearcats. And that's boys and girls. They've been fantastic so far this season.
Yeah, well, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row so far. After starting 3-3, they've won 5 in a row.
Correct.
Yeah, they've picked it up. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Coach Newcomb's got his team. I can't believe they're not ranked. But they're not yet.
They're kind of that outlier people forget about, I think.
And once again, the losses, you got a top 15 team in Class A to Canute, another top 15 team in Sentinel, and avenged the one loss against Granite to win the tournament on Granite's home floor.
It's a good one.
They got at Hammond tonight. That's not on our schedule.
I saw that. But, they're at Hammond tonight.
Okay.
Eric at Hammond, Ceiling Leedy, Merritt Hinton.
Merritt
Here
Hinton.
tomorrow.
And then I'm here, by the way, Elk City Tuttle as well. Tonight.
Tomorrow? Oh,
tonight. Elk City Tuttle's tonight.
Sorry. I
Then-
forget about tonight. And then tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to hit that for tomorrow. The Elkettes and the Big Elks head up to Northwest Oklahoma to play Woodward, and that is a game time change. We have it on Big Elk TV's schedule. If you go there looking for game times, I'm positive we already updated that. But it's 1 o'clock for the girls, 2:30 for the boys tomorrow, Big Elk TV, with Elk City and Woodward, the final game before the Christmas break kicks in. So back-to-back. Elk City didn't play Tuesday coming off the tournament, which was probably good, considering both teams played 4 games in 3 days. I didn't say that wrong. 4 games in 3 days instead of 3 games in 4. That's normally the way that goes. But no, there's 4 games in 3 days.
And no, it's not baseball. It's basketball.
That's right. So they got Tuesday off, but then play the Thursday to play tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget, if you're looking for Big Elk basketball, not wanting to go up, Big Elk or Elkette basketball, not wanting to go up to Woodward, 1 o'clock and 2:30 are the game times. Big Elk TV for those two. It's always a spicy rivalry.
Yes, it is.
Spicy.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I've given you time from the beginning of the show. Let's circle back. Let's gin sake and circle back. But we're really going to have answers. What would you have said if you were Brandon Staley when you get stopped for an interview down 42-0 heading into the halftime locker room?
I'm trying to think of something funny, but I can't. There's nothing funny about that. It's if it's me, I'd probably just own up to and go, this is on me. I don't have him ready. We're not playing good. We're going to make some halftime adjustments and see what happens. It's just as that's just as brutal as I can give it. I mean, what do you say? Well, we suck.
Well, you've got two choices.
We got a backup quarterback. The boys went out last night, hit the slots a little too late, and I'm probably fired tomorrow. Well, what do you say?
That's about the only two things you can do.
I think I go with answer A.
Yeah. Well, it's been real and it's been good, but it hasn't been real good. And I don't know if I'm going to get the call to play in the second half.
My LinkedIn account is at Staley_B. If anyone's looking to hire anybody.
For some reason, my Slack just said Brandon has left the conversation. I'm not the one that put it, so maybe that's a heads up.
I'll be available for interviews on Monday, for job interviews on Monday. Maybe even sooner. Yeah, his time's done.
Surely, right? A lot of people were shocked he didn't get fired last year because of the moves that he makes in games. I mean, it's not often I say this about a coach, but man, I'm so glad the Dallas Cowboys have Mike McCarthy and not Brandon Staley.
Right.
You know,
there's always going to be that speculation of where, when, and where is Lincoln Riley going to go next in the NFL.
Man,
in a weird way, him having this bad season has secured his job at USC because I think there's some NFL people going, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, I just read a thing this morning about him trying to devise an exit strategy out of there to take an NFL job. Here you are. This has been one that's been rumored. There's kind of been three that I've seen from like NFL people, not just like Joe Schmo that writes for a blog. This job because of Herbert. And now I guess you could probably add a fourth because wherever Caleb Williams goes.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as, that have been out there here, Dallas. And the interesting one always was to me, it always made sense to me, Kansas City, when Andy Reid retires. Because of his quarterback whisperer reputation, and obviously Patrick Mahomes would be that guy forever. Those are the three that I've always kind of seen people link him to.
Yeah.
But you're right. If that team's, if that team was even what they were last year, playing for a Pac-12 title in a New Year's Six bowl, I think you hear that speculation all day long today. When are the Chargers going to fire Brandon Staley and hire Lincoln Riley?
Yeah.
I don't know how loud that's going to be because of the season that they had.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, that's in a weird way it might actually help USC because it does feel like the hires he's made on the defensive side of things have been almost unanimously approved.
I haven't even paid attention to see who he's hired.
UCLA's defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Crosstown, and then he was able to get the North Dakota State head coach to become his linebacker coach.
Yes.
I mean, that's on its face. That sure seems like one heck of a hire.
Right.
But,
right, but so did Alex Grinch back in the day. So
yeah, Grinch was that hot name.
Got to put results. Got to see the results.
Grinch and Pete Golding.
Yeah.
Back in those were the names.
Everyone
and now,
thought that was going to be what's going to turn it around and see what happens. So
now neither one of them are a defense coordinator anymore.
No. So we'll see if the hires. It's one thing hiring people, then of course it's another thing getting results. But if he swings and misses on these defensive hires, And that is detrimental for his career because they're always going to go back and go, he can't find defensive guys. He can't do it. He doesn't have an eye for defense. He's a better coordinator than a head coach. That's part of the job as a head coach, knowing both sides of the football. So that's almost it's a must-hire, and it has to be a must-hit home run.
Yeah, you better. If he's planning on doing something else, he better strike while the iron's hot. If it works real good for 1 year, be like, yep, see, I can do it. Bye.
That iron is cooling, though. That's the thing. It's cooling off without that season he just had.
It's never going to get cold because of he's proven too much.
Yeah.
At least on the offensive side. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Garrison Financial Friday. We'll be back. It's Christmas week. Can you believe Christmas is coming up?
No.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way back. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.